Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North, our top story tonight. As the region braces for severe weather, Look North has found local authorities are spending less on gritting.
The road is our only way out to access services, and the community effectively becomes completely stranded and isolated if that road isn't gritted. It becomes too dangerous to drive.
We'll be hearing about the huge effort to keep us moving as gritting teams hit the road.
Yes, we'll be live in Wakefield with the latest. Also this evening, the couple sold a trip to holiday accommodation in Yorkshire that doesn't exist. We'll have advice as consumer experts warn travel scams are on the rise. Celebrating the great outdoors, it's 70 years since the creation of the Yorkshire Dales National Park. And how's this for a des-res? The 1950s nuclear bunker near Pontefract been put up for sale.
And a wintry forecast tonight. There's going to be rain, sleet, snow and ice, but will it affect you? Join me throughout the programme with the very latest forecast.
Hello there, you're joining us for the first Look North of the week. It's chilly out there, isn't it? As snow and freezing temperatures are forecast overnight, we can reveal how councils in our region are spending less on gritting and winter road services. There is a Met Office warning for disruption caused by snow and ice from 7 p.m. this evening until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Our research has found that in the last year, just over £20 million has been spent on the services, which include things like salt and maintaining the gritters. When taking inflation into account, more than £31 million was spent in 2017. Now, over the last 6 years, we've found there's been a 35% fall in real-term spending on our roads. In Calderdale, fewer roads are being gritted this winter as part of the council cost-cutting measures. Residents there have been urged to use grit bins in high-risk areas and to do the job themselves. Tom Ingle reports.
View always glorious, weather always changeable. Thousands of people live on the hills of the Calder Valley. Helen's one of them. She doesn't expect the council to grit the lane right to her door, but she's astonished they've decided to stop salting this residential road, which connects her and many others to the main road.
Very anxious about it because, as I said, the road is our only way out to access services, and the community effectively becomes completely stranded and isolated if that road isn't gritted. It becomes too dangerous to drive. All it needs is one car to skid horizontal and the road is completely blocked.
This road is even known locally as the Steeps, and it's one of dozens and dozens that won't receive a precautionary gritting when the mercury falls in future. We asked Calderdale Council if they wanted to talk to us about this change in policy, and they declined. They did tell us that given the nature of the borough, it's just impossible for them to reach every street, and the changes they're proposing are in line with national guidelines and their legal duties as a body that maintains highways. However, Helen tells us they've tried this policy of not gritting the steeps once before, back in 2017. In her words, the results were chaos. Just like every other council, Calderdale needs to cut their budgetary cloth. Gritting costs money, not just the salt, but the often overnight shift.
Winter contingency plans, who we've got, who's most critical.
But here at Welcome Independent Living in Mytholmroyd, director Mark Coop says it's time to have grown-up conversations, considering the money saved versus the economic damage done when people's journeys are thwarted by cold weather.
Shopkeepers can't get to the shops, or the shops don't open. People aren't going out spending money. Our carers are, as I say, having to walk to calls and rather than driving to get there. And the consequences are really significant financially and physically and emotionally as well. People are worried, people are scared.
Back on the hills above Hebden Bridge, Helen has a hospital appointment on Friday. If the cold snap arrives and tarmac isn't treated, she doesn't know if she can go. Weather forecasters watch the skies, accountants watch their balance sheet, and everyone else watches their step. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Hebden Bridge.
OK, let's get the latest now from our reporter Ollie Constable. He's been in a gritting depot in Leeds today. He joins us now from the M1 near Wakefield. Ollie, what's the picture there tonight then?
Well, Amy, you can see behind me that the M1 is flowing pretty nicely at the moment. We haven't had any of the snow falling just yet, but it is absolutely freezing cold. We've had gritters going past us even while we've been here this evening as they prepare for that yellow weather warning for snow and ice. I've been speaking to lots of councils today about their plans. A lot have been out since about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I've been at a gritting depot in Leeds speaking to some of the team there as they prepare to try and keep people moving. Thousands of tons of rock salt with crews ready to go at a moment's notice. They've already been out this afternoon and again tonight, and will be there from the early hours of the morning to keep people moving.
The crews have been at work today. They'll do some treatments this evening. We've got some more crews coming in tomorrow morning. We've got grit bins being refilled. We're most of the way through that refill process. We're going to be finishing that off in the next few days. We've got some quad bikes that go out gritting some footpath areas within city centre and likewise. We've got some tractor routes being done for cycleways and so on. So it's busier, yeah.
So Pat's team out and about at the moment. We've also been hearing how he's planning not just for tonight, but also all the way until April to the end of the season to make sure they've got enough rock salt to last there. We're only bothered really about tonight. The M1 is fine so far, but what would it be like at rush hour tomorrow?
Well, we're about to find out with Paul, hopefully. Thank you, Ollie. Paul, how much snow are we actually expecting overnight?
Well, as is always the case, it's a really complicated picture, but it is on track. The weather front's coming in from the southwest. It's already snowing in the Peak District, so I thought I would show you a graphic because it's easier to show you what's going on looking at this. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. The rain will turn to snow. Areas towards the coast will likely have rain. The sort of middle section, York down to Doncaster, an awkward mix of snow, hail, rain and sleet. But to the west of here, then there's likely to be some disruption, especially across the Pennines. Some nasty conditions developing here as we head through the night. Even urban areas such as eventually Sheffield, Leeds and Bradford could well wake up to a covering in the morning, and there's a chance that certainly across South Yorkshire and the North Midlands it might still be snowing for the rush hour first thing in the morning, but certainly that's the time when conditions will be worst.
And how long do we think it's going to last for?
Well, all that lot will clear away southward, so tomorrow afternoon will be fine, and then actually the rest of the week, although we're in the deep freeze, it's really cold, but it's actually largely dry and sunny with widespread frosts at night, so just need to get out of the way the system tonight and tomorrow morning, and then it looks dry but cold and sunny.
Thank you. A little taste of what might be to come in the next few months. Thank you, Paul. Next tonight, it is thought at least 100 people have been scammed by a fake website offering holiday accommodation in Yorkshire that doesn't actually exist. We've been speaking to one couple who booked what they thought was a stargazing retreat near Thirsk. But when they arrived, all they found was an empty field. They're now calling for a change in the law to stop others losing money. Abigiola reports.
This is Julian Potter's farm near Thirsk. It's a rural spot, but for the last 6 months, people have been arriving at his house convinced they've booked a glamping dome for a weekend of stargazing. But it's a scam. They'd booked and paid online for a campsite that doesn't exist.
It's the most horrible thing. We've had lots of people just turning up. The address on the fraudulent website is Moor Lane, Nayton, and we're having to break it to all these people who've saved up their money to come and stay away for a weekend.
This Stardome's website is the hoax site. It uses a Y07 postcode, but you're unlikely to get an ocean view like this in Thirsk. At first glance, this is a slick website with gorgeous pictures of the pod that you'll stay in. But the images have been stolen from a business that has nothing to do with Stardomes, and that pod is actually in Australia. Its owners say they have reported this as a fake website. There's also a list of non-existent facilities, and this image, well, that's not Thirsk. That's actually from a genuine but unconnected business, Catgill Farm near Bolton Abbey. They've also reported this website as fake. Tech-savvy couple Ryan and Sam were looking forward to a peaceful retreat when they paid online for a pod. Having arranged babysitters for the weekend, they arrived to an empty field, a huge disappointment.
I was devastated.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I burst out crying because I had Ryan,
Yeah, Sam was mortified, in tears,
car.
heartbroken. Obviously, it was a surprise. The actual website, looking back on it, looked really authentic, it looked genuine, it looked legitimate. And we even got booking confirmations.
North Yorkshire Police say it can be difficult to spot fraudulent websites. Check the address, look for contacts and look at reviews from a number of sources. They've referred the matter to Action Fraud. We contacted Stardomes to ask for their response, but we've had no reply and the website has now been taken down. Victims are calling for new laws to protect consumers. Abby Jola, BBC Look North.
Looks so real, doesn't it? So what do you need to look out for when booking holiday accommodation online? Rob Lilly-Jones from consumer group Which helped with some advice earlier. Now, he does say that when paying for expensive things like holidays, it's actually really good to do it on a credit card as you're more likely to get that money back should anything go wrong. He also had these tips on spotting whether a website is legitimate or not.
Look at the web address itself. So does it use a .net or a .org at the end of that web address? Because if this is a legitimate seller, that's something they're unlikely to do. So that should be a bit of a red flag for you. Also, double check the website itself, have a bit of a scroll. Does it have a contact us page or a privacy policy? Again, if neither of those things exist, that is also an area of concern. And any images that are used on any adverts, you can reverse image check those on a website like Google, and you might discover that actually those images may have been lifted from a legitimate advert and maybe being used by a scammer.
Oh, some very good tips there. You are watching Monday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Stars from Rugby League and Rugby Union going head-to-head to raise money for motor neuron disease charities. Next tonight, new figures show a rise in the number of people being killed or injured on the roads in our region. The road safety charity Break says deaths increased by 4% and serious injuries by 7% in Yorkshire and the Humber last year. In North Yorkshire, 21 local councils are calling for permanent speed cameras to be introduced in the country. There aren't any at the moment. Carla Fowler has more.
In the village of Coling in Craven, the traffic rarely stops. Despite the 30-mile-per-hour limit, many vehicles drive through at much higher speeds. Residents say the main road is used for racing and have been asking for a speed camera here for years to no avail. Now they've joined forces with 20 other town and parish councils to demand North Yorkshire Council change their policy of no fixed cameras.
We just think something needs to be done. The strategy is not working. There's a telegraph pole on the other side of the village that was replaced 4 times in 18 months. We've had cars on their roofs, we've had cars going through walls, we've got footage of a lot of it. But, you know, by the luck of the universe, there hasn't been a statistic. And it seems bizarre to be waiting for that.
Road safety charity Break today released their latest figures on the number of people killed and injured on UK roads. They show there's been no significant reduction in accidents in the UK overall, but in Yorkshire and Humber between 2022 and 23 there was a 7.1% increase in deaths and serious injuries from road traffic accidents. In North Yorkshire, the rise was even sharper, 41%. That's in contrast to an 11% decrease in the comparative figure for Leeds, where fixed speed cameras have been used.
We really want to see those speed limits coming down, really want to see people driving within the speed limit. And it's like anything, the more energy and effort and funding you put into a situation, the more benefits you will see if done properly. So there's, like I said, there's lots of schemes across the country that are starting to see those rewards.
This was filmed in Coling this year, but fellow campaigners in Gargrave and Long Preston say they see the same law-breaking speeds, and they'll continue until fixed cameras are installed.
Average speed cameras, absolutely. Mobile cameras in reserve, into places where it needs to be. I mean, this piece of road is sandwiched between 2 counties that have It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I think there's a dogma in North Yorkshire which needs to be broken. And the only people that can do that is the mayor and the deputy mayor. And the police need to be given the tools to actually tackle this. I mean, it's frankly embarrassing for North Yorkshire.
Residents say only a complete policy change will prevent North Yorkshire's road traffic accident statistics from rising even higher. Carla Fowler, BBC Look North, Coaling.
Well, we did get in touch with the Deputy Mayor for Policing, Fire and Crime for North Yorkshire and York for comment on the campaign, but we haven't yet received a response. Now we're going to keep with road safety now because police in South Yorkshire have gone undercover using a lorry to catch hundreds of drivers breaking the law. Officers travelled in an unmarked HGV over 5 days early this month. They stopped 215 vehicles, witnessing drivers on their phones, watching TV on their tablets and mobiles and failing to wear their seatbelts. A motorcyclist caught doing a wheelie at 101 miles per hour has been given a 2-year suspended jail sentence. Caught by a police safety van near Norton in North Yorkshire, 27-year-old Sam Woodward from Driffield failed to stop for police and later lied about the bike being stolen. As well as the jail sentence, he'll receive a year-long driving ban and will complete 200 hours of unpaid community work. An inquest has heard that the cause of a helicopter crash that killed 2 people in North Yorkshire remains unknown. 66-year-old Ian MacDonald and Adamasu Tefera, who was 16, died after Mr MacDonald's helicopter crashed into a tree near Ingleton in 2022. An inquest was told that intensive damage caused by the fire meant it was not possible to conclude what caused the crash. A jury returned a narrative conclusion. Now, as bombs were falling on London in the last years of the war, one Yorkshireman was looking ahead to the future and what he wanted the country to be like. Central to John Dower's vision was a nation where everyone could enjoy nature and the benefits of the great outdoors. 70 years later, we're celebrating what he achieved, the creation of the Yorkshire Dales National Park. Kathy Killick has the story.
It was 70 years ago that the uniquely beautiful scenery of the Yorkshire Dales became a national park, the landscape protected for future generations and to give health-giving happiness to the people. The blueprint was set out in the Dower Report, written in 1943 by this man, John Dower. He lived in Kirkby Malham and was honoured today at a gathering at the youth hostel in Malham, which he also designed and built, leaving an outstanding legacy.
Is a Yorkshireman, born in Ilkley, never really received the recognition I think that he's deserved. The founding father of all national parks in the United Kingdom, and he wrote a seminal report in this beautiful area of Malhamdale, and I think that's really something we should be celebrating.
Invited to pay tribute to John Dower, his surviving children, Sue and Robin. They've inherited their love of the landscape from their father and want all to share in it.
Get to the nearest place you can that is a national park. Just put some boots on and go for a walk. You'll hear the skylarks sing and you'll see the flowers and things like that, and that's what he really liked.
It is lovely being here. We came over the road from Settle. We had a view down into Malhamdale and the cove at the background and the village nestling below in the valley bottom was absolutely stunning. So that was a pleasure, just simply coming here.
As well as preserving the landscape, John Dower created cheap hostels for people to stay, wanting the parks to be accessible and affordable. His 70-year-old vision survives to this day in the youth hostels he helped establish.
How do you feel standing here?
Well, I think it's lovely that it's in such good condition, and that can only be because the YHA is looking after it, is doing the thing for which it was originally started.
One thing we know is that the younger that you come into nature and enjoy walking, the more likely it is that it'll become part of your lives. Yet so many children from deprived communities, even if they're really close to national parks, close to nature, don't get into them. So it's really important that we work to improve that.
Improving access, widening biodiversity and rethinking some land use are all on the agenda for the future. But having lasted 70 years, John Dower's essential vision should survive another 70 if we continue to look after the precious gift he left us. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North, Malhamdale.
Who knew, eh? What a great story. And of course, we continue to enjoy the Great Yorkshire Dales, don't we? Sally's back now with the sport, and it's lovely to have you back with us, Sal.
Thank you, Amy. Great to be here. Now, Headingley Stadium hosted a unique hybrid rugby match yesterday as stars from League and Union went head-to-head to raise money for motor neurone disease charities. The 7-4-5 game was the idea of Leeds Rhinos legend Rob Burrow, who died earlier this year, and his friend Ed Slater, the former rugby union player who was diagnosed with MND in 2022. It was the rugby league side that won the game by 33 points to 21, and there are hopes it could become a regular fundraising fixture.
Two codes coming together for the fight against motor neuron disease. I think the concept was massive for Ed and Rob when they organised it, and with Rob and Doddy passing away recently, and today was a great spectacle for raising awareness, raising money, and to keep fighting the battle against MND. So boys coming together, hopefully put on a great occasion for everyone to see, and it looked like a lot of fans enjoyed it.
I think Rob would have loved it. Yeah, he'd have loved to have been out there with the boys, and he was one of the best teammates I played with. He was always all about spirit, all about the team. I think with the turnout and the occasion and everything that he's brought, you know, it's definitely a success and something I look forward to either being part of in the future or, you know, maybe playing again next year.
Ultimately, it didn't matter who won. The bigger picture is about MND. And if we can keep shining a light on MND, doing something we love and other people enjoy, what's a better combination than that?
Football now, and just 4 of our teams were in action due to the international break. In League 2, Harrogate got a stoppage time victory over Chesterfield. Chesterfield had drawn level with a goal from James Berry shortly after he was brought on as a substitute. But it was Dean Cornelius who had the final say with his first goal for Harrogate this season. 2-1 the final score. And in basketball, Sheffield Sharks enjoyed their biggest championship win over the Leicester Riders since 2009. The Sharks fought back from 8 points down in the opening quarter to record a 79-61 victory, and it was a memorable game for 2 Sharks fans in particular. Take a look at this. Diane Ellis, Ferrier Menez, was invited onto court during the break to shoot a basket, but her boyfriend Carlo Vidal Miranda got down on one knee for a surprise marriage proposal. The couple, who've been together for 2 years, aren't hanging around. They're going for the slam dunk and have already set the date for December. Congratulations to them.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
I
I'm
know,
a sucker for a bit of romance.
proposal.
Lovely to have you back, Sal. It's
Thank
like
you.
you've never been away. Now, how do you fancy owning a piece of wartime history? How about a nuclear bunker? Well, now could be your lucky chance, providing that you're good with ladders, that is. Because one is going up for sale in Pontefract. We sent Jacob Tomlinson down the hatch to find out more.
It's got no running water, it's about 15 feet underground, and you'd have to go to the toilet in a bucket. So no, it's not the ideal holiday home, but for owner John, it's been something he's always wanted.
So here we are, this is our 1950s rock bunker.
John and his children have spent the last 2 summers restoring the space to its former glory, all with the original electrics.
Are you comfortable? Yeah. Good.
They were built in the 1950s to monitor nuclear blasts during the Cold War. They'd house anywhere from 1 to 3 people, and they'd inform teams at an HQ, which in this case was in York. But I know what you're thinking. Why buy one?
I suppose the real is why not? Why wouldn't you want to own a bunker? It was something I'd always wanted to own, and then this one came up half an hour from where I lived, and I just thought, well, I've got to go for it now. If I don't go, I'll never get one. So, yeah, all of a sudden I owned it. Then I had to go home and explain to the wife that I'd bought a bunker. So that was an interesting conversation. Original shaft, so up there we'd have had a Doppler, so that would have gone up to be able to detect radiation, so the guys wouldn't have had to go up to actually detect it. They could have just stuck a Doppler up and done that for you.
I appreciate I'm no Phil Spencer, but if a bunker like this is for you, it's going up for auction and it's getting lots of interest.
We get over 100 people registered to bid on these generally. A lot of people are kind of curious, they're interested, but there are a lot of historical enthusiasts that are looking to preserve history, post-war Britain, and it still does generate a lot of interest for that.
When you see nuclear bunkers like this, you expect them to be extremely derelict, but this one isn't, is it?
This is by far the best one I've been in. Obviously this one's been refurbished, it's been looked after, so it is in immaculate condition as it was when it was first built.
So there you have it, a slice of post-war Britain on Pontefract's doorstep, and it could be yours for £15,000. Jacob Tomlinson, BBC Look North.
That could settle in quite nicely there. Proper man cave, that.
Nice little mini bar. I'm not so sure about the bucket for a toilet, but anyway, it's not bad. 15 grand, is it? Now, I've got a lot to talk about tonight. I just want to show you a couple of pictures here in Bingley. That's looking down to Airedale again with the fog there in the valley bottom, and I think it's roughly a similar place as second one. That's at Sills, and that's a close-up of the Aire Valley as well. They've had a lot of fog in the last couple of weeks here. Thanks for keeping the pictures coming in. If you've got any, and of course if you've got any pictures of snow you'd like to send to me, the addresses are out on your screen. I'm at work now till 11 o'clock, so I'll keep you up to date with the latest snow situation on Instagram and on X. And we've had a few tweets already. It's snowing at Hillsborough Golf Course, Crooks in Sheffield, and already in Chesterfield and parts of the North Midlands. So that rain, sleet and snow is on its way. So we'll start with the warning, which is for much of Yorkshire and the North Midlands, snow and ice. This feature's bringing it, but then we're in the deep freeze all week. The blues tell you how cold it's going to be. Well, a few wintry showers coming down from the north, but actually Wednesday through to Friday look cold and sunny, and then rain preceded by snow Saturday, but the milder air does get in over the weekend. There's a radar picture. You can see the blues, which are rain, just turning there across the Peak District, across the southwestern parts of our region. So that's going to very slowly, erratically move northeastwards through this evening and overnight. Rain towards the coast, sort of wet snow and sleet this central bit, but most of the snow in western areas, in particular the Pennines, and we'll see temperatures coming in at around 0 Celsius. Watch out for widespread ice. Tomorrow's high water time, Scarborough 6:04, Bridlington 6:20. Now this overnight rain, sleet and snow could just be slow to clear, so there could be some snow still snowing across parts of South Yorkshire for the breakfast commute. To the north, we'll see a clearance coming down, a sunnier afternoon, a cold one, highs of 3 or 4. Live at 10:30, don't miss it.
We won't. Paul, thank you very much. As Paul mentioned, do send your pictures of the snow to us at bbc.co.uk/weather watchers. Let us know what the situation is where you are, especially through rush hour tomorrow. And as Paul mentioned, he will be back at 10:30 tonight with Phil to give you the live situation as it is. That's it from us. Good night.